Greetings, YouTube friends. Today we're going to explore the upcoming total lunar eclipse and how it correlates with price movement on the Bitcoin charts. But first, let's go over some basic facts about eclipses. An eclipse is one of the most powerful planetary events because it's an exact alignment of the sun, the moon, and the earth, which is our home. The sun and moon are our two luminaries, and they've been the foundation of our calendar system for thousands of years. Think about it. One calendar day is based on the sun's movement. It's roughly 1 degree per day from our perspective here on Earth. Eclipses occur during what we call eclipse seasons. They usually happen twice a year. They're about 6 months apart. These are periods of time when the sun, moon, and Earth align near the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are invisible points where the moon's orbit intersects the sun's apparent path. A lunar eclipse always occurs during a full moon. The upcoming eclipse on Friday is unique because it's a total lunar eclipse, sometimes called a blood moon. It's an ominous name derived from the deep red or copper hue that emerges as the moon passes completely into the Earth's shadow. Total lunar eclipses don't follow a strict yearly pattern, but they do tend to come in cycles. We tend to see 2 to 4 of them clustered together over a span of a year or two. This Friday kicks off a blood moon cycle. We'll have 3 total lunar eclipses in a row. The first one, Friday, March 14th, 2025. The second one, September 7th, 2025. And the third one, March 3rd, 2026. In the study of financial astrology, I apply planetary cycles to technical analysis charts, and I look for patterns. First, today, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin monthly chart. And then I'm going to walk us through the eclipse chart over New York City, the home of the New York Stock Exchange. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so here we have the Bitcoin monthly chart. And as you can see, this is a really good way to have a visual representation of the total lunar eclipse cycles. You can see how they cluster together in either 2s, 3s, or 4s. This event here was one of several, but the price action didn't register until this one hit here. So if we go back and we take a look, the number one correlation that I find on the Bitcoin chart is that we have a 100% correlation since the inception of Bitcoin with total lunar eclipse cycles correlating to monthly downtrends. Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to go straight down, but let's take a look at the prior cycles so that you can kind of really wrap your mind around what I'm saying. If we take a look at the total lunar eclipse cycle from 2021, you can see, and keep in mind, these are monthly bars. So you can see that the total lunar eclipse happened the same month that we came down and made this really big drop here in May of 2021. And here we are in March of 2025, and we are coming off a pretty significant drop here that we now have dropped and made a lower low here, and the month is not yet over. Then you'll notice that we did make our bottom within a month, and this is actually several weeks after the low, and it was not that much lower of a low. We got our steepest pullback during the same month as the total lunar eclipse, and then our low came just after that. Now, we did get a nice rally after this one, and then we came back down, and this is where our monthly downtrend was confirmed. We made a double top here. We made a new all-time high, rejected, and then the monthly downtrend was confirmed. Take note that the monthly low came 1 month after the last blood moon in 2022. Let's take a look at the cycle from 2019. So in 2019, you can see that this first one here in January of 2018 was the beginning of the monthly down move, and we actually never made a recovery like we did in 2021. This is a series of 3 here, and you'll notice that they pretty much marked the second one. We had a little bounce into it, and then that marked the second decline. And the other pattern that we need to take note of, it's the exact same pattern that we noticed back here, which is that our monthly low that would have been a great buying opportunity happened within a month of the last total lunar eclipse. Let's take a look at the cycle of 4 that happened in 2014 and 2015. So here we are on the first one in 2014 happened at the first low on the first monthly drawdown. And we had a sizable bounce after that. That was a tradable bounce, very similar to our 2021 event. And then we made a lower high and we continued down. with each lunar eclipse marking a lower low, or this one was, the ultimate low was here in January of 2015, but then we continued sideways, which is also a pattern that we see at these bottoms that are connected to the total lunar eclipse cycles. Again, this was an extraordinary buying opportunity as we saw this marked the low before the next major run-up. The last event, we only have one of them to show, and this was all the way back in 2011. And take note that the event occurred within 1 month of the low. Here, also an excellent buying opportunity for the next run-up. So how is this actionable trading information? What I would suggest is that I think that there's enough of a correlation with a pattern that we should be looking for a bounce to come in. And I hypothesize that the low comes after the total lunar eclipse, although it is possible. I have looked at these charts. I've drilled down to the daily and the weekly, and I'm going to save that more exhaustive research for my Discord. And if you're interested in learning more about the Bitcoin cycles, please, there's a link in the video description below. You're welcome to come join my Discord. And we can do more, where I do more extensive analysis there. But I do suspect that we're going to get a low here that is a buying opportunity for a short-term trade this month, by the end of March, maybe early April. And then we get a bounce potentially to a lower high or a retest of the all-time high. And then we would be looking here for an ultimate buying opportunity out here in March of 2026 to potentially set us up for the next bull run. So that is what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at the astrology chart over New York City. Okay, so this is the chart of the moment over New York City at the time of the total lunar eclipse, which is 2:54 a.m. on the 14th of March, 2025. And you can see that the total lunar eclipse is happening at 23 degrees and 56 minutes Virgo. This is directly opposite the sun, which is also going to be at 23 degrees and 56 minutes Pisces. And this is a South Nodal eclipse. The moon is in a very tight orb with the South Node. South Nodal eclipses are about release. They're about letting go of what no longer serves us. In Virgo, that's really going to be about old systems or habits or routines, ways of thinking that no longer align with where we need to go. In the collective sphere, we can think about these doja audits and attempts to regulate what's broken. That's a very Virgo total lunar eclipse kind of event. The other placement to consider is this eclipse placement over New York City on the 9th house. The 9th house in financial astrology represents foreign trade. This further feeds into the tariff narrative, and it's likely that we'll see the effects of the tariffs beginning to unfold over the next 3 to 6 months. Generally speaking, we see the effects of an eclipse unfold over the period of, we estimate 3 to 6 months, but oftentimes the unfolding happens as other planets trigger that degree. So this degree of 23 degrees Virgo is going to be critical as we move forward. But I'm looking for this to really play out in the domain of foreign trade. So the next thing that we'll want to take a look at is the Sun-Saturn North Node conjunction here that's happening down here in the third house over New York City. And Saturn is under a lot of pressure right now. Saturn is under the beams of the sun. It just is separating from its conjunction with the sun that happened on March 12th. When a planet is under the beams of the sun, it's weakened. So Saturn is also approaching a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces next month, and that also weakens Saturn's natural strength and stability. So what we're seeing here is a temporary collapse or erosion of structure. And in the collective, that could mean institutional, government, or financial frameworks that are failing and being restructured. We've definitely seen the financial markets falling apart this month. Saturn gives structure and wants to hold things together, but right now it's actually just exposing what isn't built to last, and we're having faulty structure at the moment. So if we take a look at this eclipse also, the next thing I want to do is take a look at it over the New York Stock Exchange natal chart. So here we have on the inner wheel is the New York Stock Exchange natal chart, and on the outer wheel is the transit chart. And so this is the moment of the total lunar eclipse. So on the New York Stock Exchange chart, this eclipse falls within 5 degrees of the New York Stock Exchange natal Mars. So the last time that we had a total lunar eclipse that fell within 5 degrees of the natal New York Stock Exchange Mars was actually on March 3rd of 2007. And here is that event on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. During this event, there was a 6% drop from February 20th to March 14th, 2007. This was the steepest loss, is worth noting. It did occur 3 days before the total lunar eclipse, and we have been seeing a pretty steep down move on the Dow Jones this week. Ultimately, though, this was just a correction in a larger monthly uptrend, and this actually just led us up to the all-time high in 2007 before the great financial crisis. So with that, I leave you with my overall thesis. We can look for rallies out of these eclipse season lows in the coming week or two, but let's be cautious of lower highs on these rallies. 2025 has been off to a volatile start, and with Saturn weakness ongoing, structure may be unreliable in the financial markets. 2025 is shaping up to be a trader's market. Stay on your toes, friends. All right, that's a wrap. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss an update. If you're interested in a personalized astrology reading, you can visit my website, margoamala.com. Also, check out my biweekly newsletter, the Astro Edge Report, and you can join the conversation in my growing Discord community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.